Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things 33 common sense lines. And I don't know who over there at Disney is involved in their HR department as far as hiring employees, but they should really probably all be fired because Disney just has one of the worst track records over the last few years of having employees either cause them nothing but problems and end up destroying their box offices, or after they're shortly let go of the company to go out there and completely and totally bash Disney for, of course, not being politically correct enough, not pushing the current spirit of the age agenda enough, and not letting people continue to go forward and spout all of their nonsense and vitriol over and over again, despite declining ratings, despite declining box office sales. And at the end of the day, boys and girls, watching Bob Iger get bashed by one of his own is always hilarious because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Bob Iger danced with the devil. He's getting exactly what he deserves, and he's getting burned once again because, as you can see over here from the headline from thatparkplace.com, former ESPN host slams Bob Iger for asking The View to tone down political discourse and Trump bashing. Yes, boys and girls, as we have seen, things absolutely change in this country when it comes to politics out there and all of the crazy kind of massive amount of people that decided to go the opposite direction of the spirit of the age last November. Needless to say, you'd think we'd go back to the old adage of Michael Jordan, where Republicans buy shoes too. And it looks like Bob Iger, according to some of the latest rumors and stuff behind the scenes, actually is pushing Disney away from that kind of stuff because, hey, he actually wants things to be profitable again, and pushing a political agenda in your entertainment and news organizations doesn't generally pan out very well for a general audience, especially people that fall on both sides, because at the end of the day, all we want is good storytelling. We don't want to know anything about your personal political agenda. But needless to say, that's what Disney's been doing for quite a while. And although Bob Iger might be a little too late to be actually able to turn things around and actually bring back some of his audience, the funniest part about this is the people that he hired, because they agreed with his political agenda and the way he wanted to take Disney at the time, are now coming back to bite him in the rear end because they're bashing him for trying to change things behind the scenes. And I, for one, think that's absolutely hilarious, and it's exactly what good old Bobby Boy deserves. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what was said about our dear sweet Bobby Boy. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just passed 1,900. We're sailing our way closer and closer to 2K, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you think Bob Iger is getting exactly what he deserves after hiring all of these crazy activists for so long, and now he's getting trashed out in the public eye? Or do you think this person's completely and totally 100% right, and The View should continue pushing forward with all of their political agenda nonsense? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description down below. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Marvin Montanaro. The fallout from Disney's quiet push to tone down the political discourse and Trump bashing on The View continues. And this time, it's coming from within the extended Disney family. Former ESPN host Jemele Hill publicly criticized Disney CEO Bob Iger over the weekend, speaking out against reports that he and the ABC News president Almin Karmadovic, asked The View host to cut back on the political rhetoric, particularly segments targeting President Donald Trump. Hill, who previously worked under Iger during her controversial ESPN tenure, did not hold back. Because, yes, the controversial ESPN tenure was, of course, nothing more than her trying to push her political agenda constantly instead of actually talking about sports. Wonder how well that went over. Trump is obviously, again, using his position as president to put the pressure on these media companies. And I think that a lot of them are capitulating and feeling the pressure. Hill said during CNN's Table for Five. Do the ratings support what you should stop talking about Donald Trump? Probably not. Oh, probably not. Tell that to MSNBC's ratings. Tell that to CNN's ratings. Tell that to all of the late night shows out there and their ratings and how well those are doing. And what's funny about that is, guess what? Once again, she's speaking without knowing anything what she's actually talking about, because guess what? The ratings do not back this up. Hill's questions about ratings may not have the answers she was hoping for. While The View enjoyed a brief surge in viewership following President Trump's re-election, in November, drawing over 4.4 million viewers the day after the election. Those numbers quickly dropped. And yeah, every show that's even going to be as slightly news-orientated got a huge, massive bump on that day. I mean, channels that normally didn't get any kind of views whatsoever on like YouTube and Rumble and stuff like that, like they got huge numbers the day after the election because everybody was talking about it and everybody wanted to know what's going on. Obviously, nobody stuck around with The View. By May of 2025, average weekly viewership had fallen back to around 2.3 million, just barely ahead of Fox News' The Faulkner Focus, which overtook The View in ratings for the first time earlier this year. And that's a Fox cable network channel, right? It's a cable channel. The View is put on ABC, on broadcast television. You remember, kids, those things all you need was some bunny ears to actually get, right? It's free for everybody to watch, whereas cable you got to pay for. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. ABC insiders say the viewer fatigue over nonstop political content played a role in executive discussions about rebalancing the show's format. Hill went on to argue that the audience demand, not executive discomfort, should drive the conversation. Once again, speaking from a place void of actual facts and numbers, as pretty much they always do, because these people live in an echo chamber and they think everyone thinks exactly like them. It's the problem we have seen throughout all of entertainment, Hollywood, Disney, cultural media, all of this kind of stuff, because this is what these people think. They think everybody else thinks just like them, but the numbers itself don't hold true to their position. If you're Bob Iger, there's the only thing that should matter. Well, apparently they do, and apparently he's paying attention, and that's why they're asking for the change. But of course, you spoke about something you didn't know about, just assuming you were going to be right. She said, failing to note the show's massive ratings dip. As long as the audience decides that they have an appetite for that, then that's what the women should talk about. Well, like I said, clearly they are not. As The View and its many political controversies unfold, it's clear that the cast isn't speaking with one voice. Co-host Ana Navarro has reportedly been the most vocal in defending the show's hyper-political tone. Ana Navarro was somebody that literally came from a political background. So color us shocked there. That's all she wants to talk about. Allegedly confronting Iger directly at Disney's upfront presentation to advertisers. But reportedly not all hosts agree. Literally another Disney employee confronting and calling out CEO Bob Iger himself because he's trying to right the ship of the company and get them away from the political agenda BS driven. Boy, color us shocked there that they're all screaming and freaking out over all of this non-stuff. According to a source who spoke with Fox News Digital, most hosts agree that ABC's top brass. The View is a daytime network talk show and needs to do more than just politics and Trump bashing. This was a welcome direction for many of us. When asked whether the show would scale back political segments under Trump's second term, the source said, it's hard to say. But ignoring Bob Iger seems like a terrible decision. I mean, yeah, the guy's literally in charge of the whole company. He quite literally signs the checks. So might not be the best idea to, I don't know, not listen to your boss, your employer. I mean, what other job have you ever seen? What other career path, whatever other world outside of Hollywood have you ever seen people being able to openly bash, criticize, and like publicly trash their own boss, the person who signs their checks, and get away with it? It's insane the amount of entitlement these people have. Others on the CNN panel shared mixed reactions. Political commentator S.C. Cupp, while acknowledging the issues with The View, applauded the host's resolve. Meanwhile, of course, S.C. Cupp, oh, what a fallen. She used to be a conservative darling, a beautiful redhead that just went absolutely insane. I don't know what happened. I don't know who hurt her, but may the Lord be with her. Meanwhile, former talk show host Montel Williams took a different approach, explaining that his own successes come from steering clear of politics altogether. I mean, yeah, Montel Williams, legendary daytime host from the 90s. Like, yeah, if anybody knows how to get daytime TV to work and be successful for like a decade, it would be him. I don't know. Maybe they should actually listen to somebody who has some experience and not the failed ESPN host. Me just thinking something. I tried to stay off politics completely, Williams said. And guess what? My ratings are up. My numbers are up. He emphasized the need for more diverse topics in media, saying, I think our nation needs to be engaged in other conversations than just what Trump's doing every day. I know, what a strange concept. People don't want to hear about politics 24/7. They certainly didn't turn into ABC's daytime television for that. If they wanted that, they'd be watching CNN or MSNBC all day long. Like, it's not rocket science. So the question is now whether The View will heed Disney's subtle directive or double down on its political persona. Despite public statements of support, insiders suggest that Iger remains concerned about how the show's combative tone reflects the broader Disney brand, especially in a highly politicized election year. Hill, for her part, warned that the executive pressure sends a dangerous signal to journalists and media personalities alike. Oh, yes, you're silencing the media. It's the guy that cuts your check. You don't like it? Go independent. Start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, start a Substack, go out there and try to do it on your own and see how well that works out. Or if you're actually just propped up by the Disney machine. Because, yeah, hasn't worked out for some people. How'd that work out for Don Lemon, by the way? If they're not willing to defend you in this moment, they're really leaving you vulnerable. And it's really leaving our entire industry vulnerable. Well, guess what? You still got to pay the bills. And going completely insane and trying to operate a news organization where your very obvious political bias is showing constantly and nonstop, it's kind of crazy how people don't trust you anymore and your ratings end up hitting in the toilet. And at some point, you gotta pay the bills. At some point, you do eventually run out of other people's money. And that's exactly what we've seen happen to the Bob Iger Disney Corporation. As the View's political discourse saga continues, it becomes a litmus test for how far Disney is willing to go in shaping the public voice of its most outspoken personalities. We will see what happens, but I just think it's funny. I think it's always a good time when Bob Iger gets exactly what he deserves, right? He hired these people. He pushed for this agenda. He set up the quotas, the diversity hiring quotas inside of his company that said you don't get your bonus if you don't have enough people hired based on immutable characteristics and not actual talent or merit, right? He's the one that did all of that. He's the one that allowed all of these people in here. He's the one that hired all of these activists and allowed these people to completely overtake his company and drive it into the ground. And now, when he's finally being realized that his legacy is under threat, that he could go down as one of the worst CEOs in the history of the Walt Disney Corporation, which he would rightly deserve, now he's trying to change things. But for a lot of parts, it's too little too late. You've driven so many fans away. You've lost so much trust with your audiences out there that there's a giant portion of your fan base and your former customers that you're never going to get back. And it's what you did, Bob Iger. You decided to choose identity politics over good storytelling, and now you're suffering the consequences. And another employee of yours is out there bashing you publicly for making these decisions, for trying to right the ship. The real question, Bob Iger, is what are you going to do? Are you going to listen to the pushback from all of the crazy activists out there and not actually push forward, try to change things? Or are you going to actually try to save your corporation from no longer being a political machine pushing the spirit of the age and actually give us good storytelling again? The question and decisions are all up to you, Bob Iger, but at the end of the day, it is hilarious to watch you get slammed by one of the former activist employees that you hired, because at the end of the day, Bob Iger, you have done this to yourself. You danced with the devil, and now you're getting burned by the exact devils and demons you hired. And I, for one, boys and girls, think that is just beautiful. Beautiful irony, and it's exactly what old Bobby Boy, the former weatherman, deserves. I wonder if he predicted that storm front coming in on him or not.